Hi everyone, my name is Amanda and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well and perhaps even getting into the holiday spirit. I know for sure that I am, since my tea consumption has at least tripled, although that may or may not also be due to the cold weather. Anyway, today we are discussing mandalas, a spiritual symbol in Hinduism and Buddhism, which is often said to represent the universe or the cosmos. Now, I don't know much about the probably very interesting history of mandalas, but at least I can show you the basics of constructing one. So to break it down completely, a mandala is in essence made up of a few simple shapes. There are probably more than these, but honestly, you don't need that many. Of course, you could make do and make a simple mandala with these, but if you know my work, you know that I am a sucker for details and probably go completely overboard with them most of the time. So here is a bunch of different borders that you can add to the outside or inside of your basic shapes to spice up your design. These are a mix of petals and lines and dots, and there are definitely many more combinations and designs you could use. Lastly, you can add fillers to your basic shapes. And this is definitely not the actual term, but there are an infinite amount of different shapes and textures that you can put inside or in between all the basic shapes that you've started with, to add detail and make your mandala intricate and unique. They are typically arranged in flower formations with petals of different looks, geometrical shapes, and drops or circles. In theory, you could draw whatever you want, as long as it's symmetrical, but more on that now. Before starting your pattern, you want to make sure that everything will be symmetrical and evenly spaced. You will need a sheet of paper, a pencil compass, a pencil, and a ruler. I started by finding the center of my paper, and this point is where you want to insert the sharp end of the compass. From here you can make however many circles radiating from the center as you want. Depending on how you use the circles as guide, a short distance between circles will mean smaller basic shapes. But this step is definitely going to help a lot when designing your mandala's overall shapes. When I was satisfied with the amount of circles, I used my ruler to draw lines across the circles, splitting them up into 8 equal parts. This step is another way you can vary your mandala by adding more or less lines as a guide. And now for the actual drawing of the pattern. If you want, you can sketch it out in pencil first, but I prefer going directly in with my finest fineliner, the 0.05 Artline fineliner. From here, there are no set ways or rules to how to go about making your pattern, but usually I start with a point or circle in the middle, with an amount of petal shapes corresponding to my guiding lines. The tip of each petal stops exactly at the first of my circles. I chose to add more black petals behind the first layer to eliminate some of the white space in between. Then I lined along the first of my guide circles to enclose the petals in the center. Then I added a border to the outside, using the guidelines as a reference for the amount of circles, in this case 2 per section. So this process is actually just repeated over and over again, always layering the shapes onto the ones beneath in new ways. You can even use the existing shapes as reference points for new ones. I know that my mandala drawings are really extra in the detail department, but I really love making ones that you can look at forever, always finding new things you didn't notice before. My first venture into the realm of mandalas a couple of years ago was a quite ambitious one actually. I drew a bunch of circles in different sizes across a single sheet of paper, overlapping them and filling each one with its own unique design. It ended up looking like this and taking more than 50 hours to complete, if I remember correctly. So you can definitely experiment with lots of different mediums and combinations to make your mandalas completely unique. A thing I like doing to make the overall design more dark and look less like a page in a coloring book is to color in some shapes with a solid black and using dots in others to create a shaded gradient effect. Really, all you need to make stunning patterns is a bit of creativity and a whole lot of patience. Like, a lot. But in the end, I think it is definitely worth it. While I draw, I would like to talk a bit about my next couple of videos and what I'm planning to do for the holiday season. I am of course going to try to upload once a week, starting with a December bullet journal spread. That is of course if I can come up with a somewhat original theme that hasn't been done 3 billion times already. That will actually be the biggest challenge, I think. Then I am planning for some more holiday themed videos, including a few DIY projects, and we'll see how that goes. For the last video in 2018, I am hoping to be able to film a collaboration video, which is super exciting, and I absolutely cannot wait. But more on that later. Anyways, that was it for this video. I hope you learned something or are inspired to take a swing at making your own mandala. If you do, I would love to see your creations, so please tag me on Instagram. I will definitely see every single one. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or ideas for future videos, feel free to leave a comment down below, and otherwise I'll see you next time. Bye!